Okay, so where are we at? Well, we've still got our disco. I've connected a button input, and I've coded so that I've initialized the button input. I've named it as an input, and I've also created a variable called button state. And that variable is going to be really important because that variable is going to change whether the button is on or off. Okay. So now we're going to do something that you're very familiar with. Inside of our loop, we're going to use an if statement. So if, now this is where we use our variable. If the button state is equal to high. Now high means that there's voltage going through it, and the only way that voltage can go through the button is if you press the button. Okay, so let's think about what our code needs to be. If the button state is equal to, sorry, there was an extra bracket there. If the button state is equal to high, when I'm pressing the button, I want the disco to happen. And all of this code here is the disco. Okay, so to start off an if, so after the condition, let's call that test for button turned on. After the condition is where the thing that happens if the condition is true. So if the condition is true, curly bracket, and all of this stuff goes in our curly bracket, and then close up the curly bracket. Oops, close up the curly bracket. And now, if that's not true, what do I want to happen? Nothing. I don't want the code to run at all. So if the button is pressed, do all of this stuff. If it's not pressed, oops, if it's not pressed, do nothing. So I've just left this empty bracket. Do nothing if, oops, make sure that when you do comments you put that there. Do nothing if not pressed. Alright, this probably isn't going to work, but I'm going to save it and see what happens. Save, tools, let's try to upload it and see what happens. Now don't be surprised when we get this orange thing here. Alright, expected something or something before the word void. Okay, probably means that when I initialized my button state up here, I forgot that thing. Awesome. Alright, so that was from a previous video, so hopefully you guys picked that up. Let's go upload. Oops. Expected a declaration before this thing. Alright. Looks like I've added in an extra bracket. Unsurprising. Let's try this again. Sketch. Let's upload it. Oh. Okay, it's uploaded. And the lights aren't going. Well, that's a good start. Alright, here we go. Button. Moment of truth. Nothing. Alright, let's take a look. Button's turned on. Alright. Let's see where we went wrong here. Alright, so I think I know what's going on here. So we've initialized our button state at 0. And so our variable is button state. But we never said what button state was. We just said that we had a variable called button state. So we're going to tell our code in our main part here what button state means. Okay, so what does button state mean? Okay, button state, oops, let's try that again. Button state equals, oops, so button state equals the digital read. Okay, the digital read, that's a new one. That's we've done digital write, which is sending something to something. Digital read is reading something from something. So it's the digital read of what? It's the digital read of our button, which we've already named. We named our button button. All right, so that says button state is equal to the digital read, the thing that we're getting from the button. Define button state as digital read of button. Okay. Not bad. Let's see what we got now. Let's upload that. Okay, it's uploaded. There's no flashing. There's still no flashing. That's a good sign, I suppose. But that was happening last time too. Let's see. Here's my button. Here's my LEDs. And it's disco time. Okay. So there's our disco. We've learned a couple of things here. A lot of things, actually. You learned your if statement, which you've seen before, which that's nothing new, I suppose. But you've also learned here how to define your variable. Up here was where we created our variable, but here is where we actually defined our variable as a digital read of something. All right, so you've got a lot now. You know how to add an input to something. You also know how to create, you know how to create an input, first of all. And you also know how to create an if statement, and you also know how to create a variable. All right, disco time.